This is the Morning After with Krys, and today I'm with Lyndsey.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here. I practice acupuncture and sound healing, as well as use astrology in my practice.
And I mean, as much as acupuncture is very important to me, because I do acupuncture, I love it, but astrology is very interesting.
Yes.
How do those two intersect?
So in Chinese medicine, there is its own set of astrological uses. We can use it for determining points that we want to use, and we can use what we call the 8 extraordinary vessels on the chart. So each section of the chart will correspond with one of these vessels, and we can use it to determine certain events or times of, say, a breakup or a health issue, and then combine that information with your natal chart and see what was happening at the time. And then we can take the planetary tones that I use in my sound healing practice and apply it to the acupuncture points.
Awesome. So how you said about intersecting with dating, how do you see certain things playing out? Does someone come to you when something happens, or do you see it beforehand? How does that come into play?
I've worked with people at all stages. So some people come, they're single, they're wondering when they're going to meet someone, or if they need to do that self-work to open up that energy. So we can work on the self-love, we can work on opening them up. Some people are really guarded. They don't want to really let anyone in. So it's definitely a great method to see if there's any past life traumas or anything in the chart that's preventing them from opening up, as well as teaching them how to embrace their strengths in their chart.
How does acupuncture help emotional healing?
Acupuncture helps emotional healing in so many ways. So we have different emotions that are associated with different organs. So you have joy or anxiety with the heart, you have grief with the lungs, you have anger with the liver, fear with the kidneys, worry with the spleen. So depending on what you're getting caught up in, say you're really fearful, you're never going to find someone, or they're going to leave you, we can start working on the kidneys. If you're always angry with your partner and getting explosive, we can soothe the liver. There's a lot of anxiety because you're about to go on a first date. We can get you really calm and settled and just really prepared for that moment.
Has anyone ever come to you before a first date to deal with that?
Yes, actually.
Really?
Yep. Yeah, I've had some people come and they're like, I'm so excited. I'm going to meet this guy. And, they tell me where they're going, what they're doing. And so we just ground them into their heart space, bring them down into their feet, and kind of work with what energies are flying up so they can just be that cool cucumber that they want to be.
Now, I just want to switch from acupuncture to, I guess, astrology. And a lot of people get fixated on sun signs, then there's your rising sign, your moon sign. How do you think that comes into play, and where should people focus?
I think sun signs are a great way for someone who's a beginner to start to understand how astrology works. It gives you a good idea, but you have to look at the entire chart. You have to look at the aspects between all the planets, the houses they're in, and the signs they're in. It can't be one-dimensional like a sun sign astrology horoscope in a newspaper.
So people shouldn't just, be on TikTok and watch all those videos.
There's definitely some decent content on there if you find the right astrologer, but it's more dynamic and it depends on what you're looking for. In the case of dating, you're going to want to know about your Venus sign. You're going to potentially want to know about your Jupiter sign, especially if you're getting to the point where you want to get married and maybe you want to start a family. And you want to look at what we know as the malefics. So you want to look for things like Saturn and Pluto and how they're aspecting things in your chart, where your lessons are going to fall. So that's why someone can be born, say, July 3rd, and another person can be born July 15th. Yeah, they're both Cancer, but they're going to have completely different lives.
And do you feel that astrology, can that help anyone in a breakup? Can it guide them?
Absolutely. Yeah. You can look into the chart. You can look at the synastry. So if you know the date and time of when the other person was born, you can see if Maybe you guys had a past life agreement that you were going to go through this life, you were going to meet, you were going to go through this lesson, and it was going to be an explosive ending. Or if you are in a pattern and you're constantly picking the same type of person, the same archetype of person, then you can start breaking out of that pattern by really studying your astrology.
Do you ever feel that there's like a certain time when it comes to dating and astrology that people can really trust it? Like if they're really uncertain, they think, what am I going to do? This is the one thing that would make you feel confident. Is there anything?
I think that puts a lot of weight into what is an opportunity. You get to decide what you do with your chart. It's all giving you the oversight. It's like looking down over top and seeing everything moving around like a game board. And you can make your choices off of that. So there's definitely going to be opportunities when you're not going to want to move. You're going to see that Saturn's coming into a negative aspect or something that's just going to be really difficult. And if you can avoid it, if there's that opportunity to stave off that business agreement or not go on that date or just kind of avoid for a bit, that's definitely recommended. But sometimes you just got to jump in and you got to ride the waves.
Do you also feel like in a way that can help someone to attract like emotional connection
Absolutely.
or their future partner?
Yeah. Relationships aren't about being easy. They're about growth. They're about learning. They're about developing trust. So absolutely, you want to have a little friction. You want to have a little passion going on, or it's boring. And then a lot of people don't want to stay in those relationships.
It's true. Have you ever read a chart of somebody and thought, oh my God,
Yes.
these two people shouldn't be together, or this person needs to change their life? And what have you done?
You learn how to dance the dance. You try to focus on them improving themselves. You look at the aspects that are hindering them and you turn it into that self-development moment. I don't like scaring people and going, well, you're doomed. This is going to happen. Pluto's coming in and he's destroying your life. Like that's not productive, and it's not going to help a person really step into their light. It's just going to leave them afraid. And I try to avoid that the best that I can.
What do you think the biggest dating myth comes from astrology?
The biggest dating myth in astrology, probably coming from that sun sign astrology aspect where you just think, oh, well, Scorpios are so scary and I can't be with them.
People do think that.
They all think that. Everyone is afraid of Scorpios.
Do you know a Scorpio?
I know quite a few, actually.
that don't like align with what everyone believes?
I think the difference is surface layer. They're very protective.
Yeah.
And water signs do tend to have this mystery. When you look into the ocean, you can't see everything that's down there. It does take the bravery to dive in and get to know them. So with a Scorpio, you need to earn their trust.
Right.
And when you get to know them, they will be protective, loyal, so giving, so caring. It's amazing. It's kind of like Cancerians, And I think water signs get the worst rap when it comes to dating in astrology, is because we're so emotional and so unpredictable, but there's also a nurturing and a cleansing and a beauty that comes from these signs as well. Same with fire signs. Oh, they're so fiery and they're so aggressive and they're so angry, but there's passion behind that. There's drive. It's all about tapping into the underlying of why they're doing what they're doing.
What's the funniest thing you've experienced with astrology and the people you've met?
The funniest thing? I think it's funny when people start to just give up. They have accepted things as the way they are, and all of a sudden something will come up that they didn't expect. So an example, I was looking at a chart, and they were like, I'm done. Like, I have had so many miscarriages. I've given up. My partner and I were just not meant to have a child. And this was really upsetting to them. They really wanted to do this. And I'm looking in their chart and peeking around. And I'm like, you might want to hold off on giving up yet. And they're like, what do you mean? Like, it's been years of trying. I'm like, give it another year. And within a few months, they were pregnant.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, are there things in people's charts that you see, maybe a question that they don't necessarily have, and you're like, wait a minute, if they knew about this, things could change. I can help them. Does that come up?
Yeah. That's when we start looking at the nodes. So some people can have nodal conjunctions. Sometimes they're on the same life path. So they'll have a north node and a north node that are conjunct. And it can be in line with, say, like a moon and a Venus together. Well, that's a very favorable conjunction to have. And then north node, you're on the same path. So depending on what house that falls in, let's say it fell under Cancer, under the 4th house, which is about home, hearth, building a family. That's when you start saying, like, well, have you thought about dating this person? Is this someone you would consider more of a relationship with if we were just looking at friends, as an example? There's even oppositions. Lots of people are oppositional, and there's so much passion that can come from that. But in the end, is it really the relationship that you want? Do you always want to be going the other direction and looking back at each other with that frustration? Or is it just the excitement of the passion and you need to put each other in a different spot? Have you ever had anyone who say they're really into their sun astrology and they're like, I'm looking for this sign? Have you ever experienced that in your line of work?
You know, it was interesting because during COVID, I feel like there was a lot of different things going on, and a lot of people focused on, certain aspects of meeting somebody, and astrology became a really big part of our matchmaking. It's not so big now, but it was then. Yeah, people asked about astrology signs, sun signs, and we did focus on that. Like, I did put a lot of emphasis on that at that time. And I still think, like, in my mind, when I meet somebody, when I see their sun sign, I think, oh, they're this way, they're that way. But I don't, like, I take that in and then I kind of leave it because I know there's more to it than that, especially for me. Like, I know my sun sign, I know my rising sign, I know my moon. It could change, right? With different people. So I try not to put too much focus on it, but I know that there's people where it is important to them. And if it is important to them, we certainly try to, like, focus on that because it's interesting and it's fun.
Yeah. Have you ever found that through your matchmaking, someone did turn out to have those classical matches with the astrology signs?
I haven't found that yet. No. But that is something I feel like we should be tracking.
It'd be really interesting.
It is. It is interesting. And even for me, I feel like the signs that I'm most attracted to are the ones that I'm the least compatible with.
Back to that passion, having that friction.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So I think it's a good thing to track.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And what brought you into wanting to do matchmaking?
I had gone to matchmakers myself and I just didn't feel like it was working out for me. So I just felt like I could do better. So I went and started it on my own, and now here I am.
It's amazing.
I wonder if that has something to do with my sun sign.
Could be.
It could.
Very Aryan, and you need to go out on your own and strive for your own, which is so exciting.
Yeah. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed it.